In this lesson, we will talk about the roadmap of web development. So what are the things that you must know? What are the things that you must study so that you'll be able to have a good background in writing good websites? So the step one is you have to study the basics. Basics of what? Basic of HTML. Should learn how to identify the structure of HTML, such as the tags and attributes. Next to that, you have to learn CSS. CSS basically stands for Cascading Style Sheet. CSS will help you to create a good design and layouts for your HTML. And then last is the JavaScript. JavaScript itself is not sufficient for you to create a good web design. It has to be with something else. But it is a good starting point that you know the basics of JavaScript. Step 2. After learning the basics, don't be contented on what you have acquired. You have to go deeper. So you have to study the structure of document object model of HTML. Then try to associate also the Google Maps, fonts, and charts in your HTML document object. And consume also the available icons from the CSS because this will allow you to make your websites more responsive using the CSS frameworks. And then the last one is by applying or integrating the extensible markup language. With extensible markup language, you'll be able to create a full-featured JavaScript wherein you can pull out external files outside your directory going inside of your website. And together with that is the JavaScript object notation. Combining JavaScript object notation with XML will greatly improve the way you iterate on the items of your array. Step 3, you have to choose a framework. So we have two sets of framework when it comes to web design. We have what we call JavaScript framework and the CSS framework. For CSS framework, we have two flavors. Number one is the Bootstrap, and number two is the W3.css. Don't worry about the two because these two frameworks are all covered up in our succeeding lessons. For JavaScript, we have different flavors of frameworks, but the widely used nowadays is the jQuery. That is why in our succeeding lessons and the chapters of our lectures, we'll be concentrating on the use of jQuery. XML, we will not dig into deeply into the XML. However, it will be part of our Ajax execution. Whenever you execute Ajax, XML will be part of it. And then the last one is the back-end roadmaps. So when we say back-end roadmaps, these are the back-end solution such as databases and back-end scripts such as PHP, ASP, Python, or SQL. These back-end scripts are programming languages that interprets your scripts, feeding these scripts back to your HTML. And for your database, you can utilize SQL, MySQL, or MongoDB. So with the help of backend script and backend databases, or you'll be able to implement a good web information system. See you in the next video.